am I? Hmm. I think the first thing that comes to mind is loving awareness.
Is
Yeah,
that
at the
one?
most fundamental level.
Mm.
Yeah, just pure presence, awareness, and love. I think that is at the core of it all. What I try to remember that we all are that.
Mm.
No. No, that was such a big question. Who am I? And I think that was so much searching around, well, who am I, and what is this life, and why am I here? And um, yeah, what is the meaning of existence? Like all these big questions that I think through a lot of the inner work and growth and development that I've been fortunate to undertake. I think just that, and kind of going beyond that small self has been getting bigger and bigger to realize like I'm actually not this, you know, small bounded self that is Sarah Murray Hopf with, all these labels and identities attached, and you know my background and my history and everything else. But I'm actually something much bigger than that, and something very unbounded and yeah, incredibly powerful and beautiful, just like everyone, you know, all beings. So I think that's been a gradual journey into that over a long period of time, and also a daily reminder. Wow, what a beautiful question. Um, I think I think beautiful in my boundless curiosity and living the questions, and um, really really wanting to make a contribution and do so from place of the highest integrity, and to be well used by life. That is a big piece of what's driving me, is just this sincere intention to be well used,
Mm.
and to lift the questions,
Mm.
yeah, walk with the questions, and to keep growing and keep learning, keep unfolding, and to know that I'm already whole and complete exactly as I am, and there's always more to unfold, more to learn, um, more to shed light on in terms of what's been unconscious or things I'm not aware of that might be driving me in certain ways. So um, yeah, always opportunity for growth, and yet there's already beauty in the whole.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's just been continuous journey in search of truth, beauty, and goodness in a way. And yeah, just leaving behind that which wasn't serving me, and moving more towards that which I want to create in the world, and to try to embody that as best as I can. And yeah, I think it's been a movement towards increasingly more of a sense of agency and freedom, and also trust. Yeah, just a growing trust that I think has not always been there. So deep trust in myself, as well as in the life process, the unfolding life process, deep trust in others' goodness, in others' potential, that no matter what their actions are, that there is that potential to be good and to contribute, and also just a lot more compassion and much less judgment as well. Yeah, just knowing what we're all going through, right, in this human experience, and how we've all been shaped by our conditioning and our childhoods, and by society, and our biology, like everything combined. And yeah, just become so much more forgiving and compassionate, much less judgmental, and much more trusting in goodness. Yes. Yeah, I think a big turning point, maybe there were two, but they were both when I was 13. I had a near-death experience, flying in a plane, and the engine exploded, and I was flying from Florida back to Germany, where I was living. I just visited my mother, and yeah, I was just alone in that plane, and it was a very scary experience to go through. And fortunately, we were all fine. We were able to do an emergency landing, and we all survived. But it really was such a powerful reminder of the preciousness of life for me, and all that I'm grateful for. And I ended up basically going through my entire life like a movie reel, as we were approaching the runway, getting ready to land, and was just filled with an abundance of gratitude and love, and the sense of peace as well. And that was very powerful for me, that I really wanted this opportunity I wanted to live life to the fullest, and not take it for granted. It was a huge reminder of just the gift of life for me. And also in that year, I came across a book on the Buddha's life, which was also very powerful for me, having gone through a really challenging childhood with quite a bit of abuse, and generations of trauma that have led to that. And I could just really see just the truth of those teachings, and just the possibility of a way out of suffering was very compelling for me. And it was just a real draw to explore the Dharma more and to start a mindfulness practice, a meditation practice. Um, and I think that was like the beginning of really coming home to myself, or really deeply listening to myself, and discover a lot of that inner wisdom, and just a deep inner knowing of just what life is all about, or what I can believe, or what's maybe not true. Like there was just really helped me with a lot of discernment around what I was experiencing in my own environment, and just helped me make some big decisions as well. And so in that moment, I also during that time, I also decided to leave Germany, to move to the US, to be with my mother and make that really big life change, which meant leaving behind my entire paternal side of the family, to start a new life in the US with my mom, and to really become free. Like it was really the beginning of much more freedom for me, and took me 2 more years to put all those blocks into place and create a plan for getting out. But once I was able to do that, I took that leap, and it was a really massive shift, like almost like one reel, like one film reel of my life had ended, and I put in a fresh one. It was really such a big shift for me at age 15 to close that whole Germany chapter and that childhood in a way, and then come into a whole different environment and way of living in the US with my mom. So yeah, it was a really big moment, and I know that those experiences of discovering the Dharma, that experience on the plane, and just really connecting with what's most important, into my own truth. It was so transformative for me, and I think I've been on that path ever since, to chart my own path, and to really being committed to breaking cycles of trauma and toxicity in my family lineage, and really supporting healing and unfolding in others, and just wanting to make a contribution. I think what's coming to mind is to really live in integrity, in integrity with yourself, with the way things are, with the people in your life, with the earth, like just to really, just have to live in integrity, and to really be true to yourself, and to others, and yeah, and to be kind, and to be kind and compassionate to self and others, and yeah. Yeah. it is a context for, you know, a deep sense of belonging and of contribution and of unfolding, like really unfolding our potential as human beings. So, which is both a healing process, but also an unfolding of our fullest human capacities, which, is also to be kind, to be compassionate, to be creative, to be resilient, to be courageous. So really to have the fullest access to all that is inherent already within us, and that gets blocked. So much beauty. I love beauty. I mean, I'm always looking for the beauty in the world. I'm always looking for the good. That is a big presence, practice, a practice for me, and to be present with beauty. Yeah, I see it in the small things and in the big things. I think it's everywhere if we just look for it and see the beauty in all that is unfolding. And even in challenging experiences, there's beauty and learning and growth. And I see it definitely in nature. I love to be outdoors and really take in nature's masterpieces, whether it's to be with a beautiful tree or flowers, or just observe animals. Like there's just so much incredible beauty in creation, and just yeah, the calm that comes with being connected to nature, and just to feel sense of awe and wonder, and really connected to something larger than myself. Like I just feel really connected to life when I'm in nature, and really reminded that it's not about me, right? And I'm not just like this small self having this human experience of my own little thoughts and worries and concerns and everything. Like it's just such a portal to something much bigger, and the mystery of it all. So I love nature. There's so much beauty. I think there's incredible beauty in human connection, and really meeting others in a deep way, with full presence, and with like the really open, in a very open and generous way, like to really ask these generative questions, to hold space for people, to just be in that space of giving and receiving, and exploring something together in deep conversation, or in dancing together, or doing other activities. Like there is so much beauty in authentic human connection, that also can feel really transcendent as well. And I love that. Conversations that go on for hours, where it's just a total flow, and I don't even know how the time passes, and I'm just the conversation, like I'm just the interaction versus an individual self. Like it's almost like emerging. It's really beautiful what can unfold to connect on that level. Um, and and that's also incredible beauty and just human ingenuity and creativity, and you know, in art, in poetry and writing, and really any craft that is well done. See so much beauty in that, and I am deeply cherishing craftsmanship and excellence, and yeah, just I love seeing that, or beauty and beautiful design, well designed spaces, or um, anything aesthetically pleasing, right? Like I love the aesthetics of good aesthetics, and um, oh my goodness, wow, that is. I love museums. I love museums. Um, there's actually a funny story that I was once at the NIH doing an internship there when I was still very set on, becoming a scientist or a physician. That was during my freshman summer, and I went to the career advisor, and I said, I don't know about this. Like I'm just in the lab, for 10 hours a day. And what I'm really enjoying is going to all these museums on the weekends. Like I'm just spending my entire weekends in DC just going to museums, and then here are the sections, and I'm just taking note of the sections that I'm really drawn to, and this is what I'm finding. And she said, like you don't have to be a doctor. Like it's not mandatory. You could do something else. And it was just like this like light bulb moment of like, I don't have to be like I could I could do something else. And it was just like this like huge weight off my shoulders. And like I just knew like yes, that is not the path for me. I don't want to do it. And it was incredible. And then she said, well, maybe you could look into becoming a museum curator. Yeah, I think it was that moment. It just changed everything that was possible in my life. Like it was just this moment of like, wow, like I don't have to do this. Like I don't have to do this, because I really thought like it is my responsibility. Like if I want to use my gifts, like I need to like do this. I need to do whatever I can to be a physician and also get a PhD, and like make this significant contribution to solving a major illness, right? Like addressing that. Like I just had this like if I can do it, like I need to do it. And in high school I was very much encouraged to go into science, and everyone said like you're so amazing at math and you're so amazing at chemistry and physics, and like this is the path for you. And so I was very much encouraged along those lines, and everything else wasn't as focused on. Like that was high school was also very much focused on science and doing that. And I very much felt that if I can do that, then I need to do that. I should do that. And my mom is a physician, and so her as a role model, right, as well. And so yeah, it just felt like this, like I need to do this. And once she said that I don't need to do it, it just opened up everything. And suddenly there was this real sense of, well, if I'm not doing that, then I can really do anything. Like then I can like really do something path, like boundary breaking. Like I can just really create my own path. Like I can just put together different disciplines. You know, I can just make this up. I can be innovative. I can, you know, solve challenges in a different kind of way. And it was just this like permission to not just follow the track that I already saw laid out for me. Like I already saw like the next, like, you know, decade pretty much laid out of like, okay, if you do this and then you do this and then, you know, all these things. And it was just like, wow, like I get to really design my life. You know, I get to create how I want to do this. And there's no plan now. Like there's no guidebook around like, this is what you need to do. And so it really encouraged me to just, you know, just to really pursue the things that were off the beaten path. And so then I became like very excited about like, let's be the path like that. That's really like break the molds, right? Like how can I break the mold at Dartmouth in the best way possible, right? And then all my friends were like totally shocked, right? That I was like going back after freshman year, like not doing, you know, not doing pre-med anymore and not majoring in biology or chemistry or something. And I just very purposefully put myself in environments that were just totally different, and classes that were, you know, very, very unique and different. Like I took a class on design thinking and human-centered design, which, you know, again, changed what was possible, like around like I get to design and create and solve problems in those ways, and ended up majoring in anthropology, which was a whole new way of looking at the world, and felt deeply aligned. And, you know, I just got to create my own path, and I became very interested in social entrepreneurship and social innovation, and, you know, really looking at systemic ways of solving social challenges, and think bigger, like really think bigger about the system and how all the different pieces fit together, and understand humans and all of their complexity. And I just kind of became like obsessed about all these puzzle pieces and how to make the biggest difference in the world possible, and just really understand how all these things are working. And so it was really big. And that has been the exploration. And then just increasingly giving myself more permission to live my life the way I want to live it, and to contribute in the ways I want to contribute. And I think it's increasingly been more and more off the beaten path, which has been, you know, it has been a process, right? Because I was at you know, like the Ivy League school, right? And then you have to like, this is like the path, and this is, you know, how it's going to go. And, you know, it's just in that high school also that I came into from Germany, where I worked so hard to, I mean, I just worked harder than I've ever worked in my entire life. And I still have never never again worked as hard as I did in those 3 years when I came from Germany. And it was, yeah, it was almost like, I was almost like so bound to that, of like, you know, just this sense of like, if I can do that, like I can't, like I need to, you know, reach that potential. I need to contribute in those ways if I can. And everything else, you know, that self-designed path, like it was just much less certainty, much less, you know, control, much less, guidance, and just a very different way of approaching it. But it took a lot. Took a lot to say no to just the easy way, not the easy way, because I know it's difficult, but like the more certain way of making it, right? Making it, as well as the social status and the money and the everything else that comes with making it in that way, that is a defined way. And so to say, like, you know what, I'm actually going to go the other way and I'm going to go another way was big, especially also knowing how much I had invested in that path up front. And yeah, and like very much was a robot in high school. I mean, I was very intense. Very intense. Yes, but yeah, it was just realizing like how the humanity wasn't present, you know, and how I was just functioning and doing and achieving and just extremely achievement oriented. And I think if I've softened a lot, I've really opened myself up to so many other dimensions of life beyond just constant achievement and pushing myself and that's, yeah, it's been quite a journey. And yeah, and really allowing myself to be myself and to contribute in the ways that I would like to, even if that is not valued in the same ways by society, in the ways that I could have otherwise chosen, right? Had I chosen a different path. Yeah. Yeah, you know, I just realized that I wasn't fully living. Like when I was just the robot and I was just achieving and I was just, you know, pushing so hard. I mean, so hard and so scared of failure, you know, and just so I gotta get that A, right? Gotta get everything perfect, gotta do whatever it takes to, you know, do all these things and to, you know, build that resume and like take on everything and, you know, all the other activities and make a difference and be a leader and like blah, right? Like all the criteria and like so much. And yeah, just the fully living and being in the present moment and being connected to my heart and to my body and to my emotions. It was just not there. It just wasn't. I just had to numb it all. Like I just had to, yeah, I had to push it all away. And for a long time, that actually worked really well because I was also having so much stuff from childhood that I just couldn't deal with as I was pushing so hard as well. Because it would have been way too overwhelming to open to all those difficult emotions and all the things that have actually happened. And so I was very good at just throwing myself into working all the time and yeah, just, you know, almost like deferring life in some way. Work, I mean, school was always the way that I survived my childhood. You know, it was always like just throw yourself into that, right? And this is like the one thing that you can control and where you can get recognition and appreciation and where you can invest in your future. And so that was always the thing, as well as some sports as well, but basically always like just whatever you do, be the best, like, and you'll be good. You know, you're perfect, nothing can hurt you. But you have to get there, like you have to get to perfection. So yeah, so and then, you know, if that is not the way that I need to be, right, and I don't have to constantly push so hard, then I've just learned to just really connect with myself a lot more and with what it actually is to live a human life, you know, with all of the joys and the sorrows, and to be present, to really be present for all of it. And I think what I've just found is that like maybe the meaning of life is really just to live it, right? To be fully alive while you're here, to really be present for all the beauty and the difficulty, with the joy and the sorrow, but to really be there for it. Yeah. And that it's really not just about this endless pursuit of happiness and the endless pursuit of more, and proving yourself, and the next thing and the next thing, and so it's been very freeing to really make presence a priority, like to really like invest in presence, in cultivating my presence, in doing the work to understand what takes me out of presence, to really invest in that. And certainly my mindfulness practice has been a big piece of that. But I do think it's probably the most valuable asset we have, right? Is our presence, and just how incredibly powerful that can be for others, right? To be with someone who is fully present in the here and now, who is receptive, right? Who is there because we heal in relationship, right? We get hurt in relationship and we heal in relationship. And so I think it's one of the greatest gifts that we can offer to each other, and to ourselves, to not miss our life, but to actually be there for it. Let's see, expanding. No, it's a beautiful question. I think it's like this expanding and contracting is such a beautiful, natural process, right? We cannot always be open or closed, right? But it's all the expanding and the contracting, and yeah, expanding. I think expanding in clarity in how I want to contribute to the world, and really coming more and more into my own, around what's needed, or kind of what's called for, like what I feel called to do, but also what I feel like the world needs in these times. I feel like we're in a very, really challenging time in human history, the history of our planet. Like I think it's really very challenging time, and so just to really wanting to step up and contribute and support people to be with so much uncertainty and complexity and ambiguity and change, and to support a movement of moving from sense of scarcity to sense of generosity, to really open up to our own resourcefulness, rather than the sense of not enough, or it's a just always wanting more. And and I think it really requires like a shift in like what we want, right? Like what are our desires as humans to continue to thrive on the planet, just with climate change and with just the level of consumption that's going on. And so how do we awaken to our resourcefulness, our abundance, and break that cycle of just constantly wanting more and more and more and never enough, and trying to satisfy something that is insatiable inside, through, right, taking, extracting, and exploiting, right? There's so much of that driving capitalism, and right, how this entire system, right, is based on wanting more and not good enough, and yeah, striving for that next thing. And so how to be part of that, and I really think it is so much of that involves just waking up to our own inherent wholeness and completeness, and the access to our inherent capacities as humans that we all have, rather than trying to seek all of that outside, or wanting something to fill the void, or right, to feel like something outside of us to help us feel like we're good enough, or we are loved, or whatever. So yeah, and I think that involves trauma integration work, and a lot of that inner work, of removing all that is kind of blocking that, or covering over the core of our being. Yeah, so I'm just really sensing that in terms of how I want to contribute, and to be very skillful in being a presence and holding presence, and to do that even when things are challenging, when I'm tested and triggered and scared, or right, as everything is happening. But I do feel a sense of clarity around that, and a direction in how I want to continue to grow and cultivate myself. Wanting to contribute where it matters. I think I'm just really, like, what I'm currently really focused on in terms of my learning, and is really around like the art and science of human unfolding, and collective trauma healing. Like, that would be areas that I'm really, really interested in, and training in as well. Like, I'm continuing to seek out teachers and communities around that, and doing some intensive study around that. So, what does it look like? Like, what's the cutting edge of human development? Like, what is the cutting edge of facilitating healing on a very large scale? And that is very exciting. It's very exciting to me. And I want to create those kinds of spaces for people, both in one-on-one work, as well as in group work as well, and cultivate a sense of mastery around that and be in the learning around that. And I know it's very much like it's an unfolding field itself, right? I mean, this is like, this is like developing as we speak, right? Like it's kind of like the edge of like what's possible in terms of being human and really living connected to our fullest capacities, for for kindness and for creativity and for for resilience and for beauty and for spaciousness and ease and all of these things that I think will be so important to, as we are addressing all these big challenges that are facing us, right? So we're not getting in our own way, right? We're not at the mercy of um, our own conditioning and the society's conditioning and right, all these things, but we can really create from who we really are, from our true nature in a way, and have that as a starting point. Like that feels really exciting to me. Like I'm just figuring this all out as I go. Like I by no means have all the answers, or right, like I'm imperfect and fallible and just trying to do the best I can on the journey. And just and I'm holding all of this lightly and always open to have my mind expanded and to just see the world in a new light. I really appreciate that, and I'm just committed to doing the work on my own biases and blind spots and so just I guess I'm just cognizant of some of the things I share, just the privilege in that of saying like, oh, I didn't want to do the physician path, and right, and like went to this like Ivy League school, and like, oh my god, like it's very much like this very privileged privileged thing. I'm just thinking of that. So just acknowledging that, and at the same time also that knowing that pain is pain, suffering is suffering, and that there is no hierarchy for that, and so also not diminishing that for anyone, no matter their background or experience. The support question. This is always like it's always a question. It's always a hard question for me. Like that's like how, like it's like I don't know, like to be on the journey together, right? To engage in generative conversation, to lift the questions together, to to be real, and to be real and human together. And yeah, and to, space for playfulness, and because that's so important, right? Cannot be all like, all this like big contribution goals and all of that, but like, like the play is so important, and the lightness and the humor, and to really create space for that, and to have community. I think that's really, to have community, and to do it together, to really be on this journey together, and support each other, and to know we're never alone, and just so connected no matter where we are in the world. And I really do think we can walk each other home, and relationships is where it's at. That's I gave up long ago that idea of just going to some mountain monastery and just being there, and do that, because that was very tempting for a long time. It's like, well, maybe if I could just do that, and then I don't have to deal with all this like human stuff and all this drama and whatever, and all these people who are like not doing what they're supposed to be doing, or harming each other or whatever. I could just leave it all behind. And but I think there's so much. I think relationships is where it's at. I really think we heal in relationship, and that is going to be what's going to support us through these challenging times. Coming together, and doing this work together, being present for each other.